Hi guys, welcome to Advanced Excel session with Preeti. In today's session we are going to understand how to write an if function along with an and. Before we understand that, let's understand when do we use an and function. So let's say for example in the earlier session wherein we had learnt about a simple if, we had just a single condition. For example, if this is a text, I want some value to be returned, or if a value is more than a certain value, it should return some text. So for example, in this scenario, let's say these are some employee names and they are from various regions and their shift details are given here. Let's say if I want to create groups based on the region and the shift. So if let's say the region is West and if the person is doing a night shift, I want to categorize them in a group called group 1, and the remaining employees I want to categorize them as group 2. So in this scenario, if you notice, we have two conditions. The first condition goes on the region column, the second condition goes on the shift column. So in such a scenario, a simple if won't work, and the reason is, if you write if function, you will notice over here it says logical test. That means you can give only one condition. Hence, we need the help of another function to write two conditions. So in this case, you have to understand in this scenario whether you will be using the logical function of and or. There is another function called or. So in this scenario, as I mentioned, like just notice when you're saying I want resources from West region and who is working in night shift. So even while speaking, I use the word and. So that's as simple as it to understand whether you have to use an and function or an or function. So there is no brainer here. You don't have to kind of memorize or something in which scenarios you have to use, and it will completely depend upon the scenario. So like I said, you cannot put more than one condition here. Let me write my and function and see how this syntax will change. We are going to follow this syntax help because we will see how it changes when we write another function. So I'll write and if you notice, the syntax has changed to logical 1, logical 2, which means you can write your condition 1 and then you can write condition 2. So condition 1 was on the region column. You select region and you will say equal to West. This is just an example. You could do it for any scenarios wherein you are putting condition on two different columns, or let's say two different ranges. So here shift, I want night shift. Okay, I want to categorize them in one group so that I can monitor that more easily. I am done with the conditions. Notice over here we are in this area. As soon as I am done with any function in Excel, you close the bracket. Now if you notice, after and, I close the and bracket, it has taken me back to the if syntax. So I will put a comma and then I will put the value if true. So if the value is true, that means if both the conditions are satisfied. Now whenever you write and, if any one of the condition is not satisfied, you will get a false value. Okay, so you won't get the true value there. If it is true, then you will say group 1, and if it is false, then you will say, keep the case consistent, group 2. That's it. You are done with your function, so you need to close the bracket. And as soon as you do, the syntax help disappears. So whenever you write a function and if the syntax help disappears, understand that you have done no error in writing the function. That's it. Press enter and then you can drag the function. So as I said, I wanted a group for the West who is working in the night shift, and the remaining people should come in the group 2. So I hope this was clear and you've understood how to use an if and and combination along with an if, and this is also called as a nested function. In case you all have any queries, please do let me know in the comment section, and in case if you all want me to cover any new topic, also do mention it in the comments. Thank you so much for attending this session.